The Balkans, often called the powder keg of Europe, a region steeped in history and intrigue, has been a crossroads of empires and conflict for centuries, a place where East meets West, and where different cultures have clashed and mingled, leaving an indelible mark on the landscape and its people. This isn't just ancient history, the echoes of the past resonate even today. The region's tensions still shape millions of lives in global politics, influencing international relations and demanding constant vigilance from the global community. To understand why, you have to look at Yugoslavia, a key to unlocking the complexities of the Balkans, a country that no longer exists, a testament to the volatile nature of the region. Under Tito, 6 republics, each with its own distinct identity, Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Serbia, Montenegro and Macedonia, were held together by force and charisma, a delicate balancing act that masked deep-seated divisions. Different languages, religions and histories were united under one flag, a symbol of unity that belied the underlying tensions. But it was a fragile peace, a temporary truce in a region known for its turbulent past. When Tito died in 1980, the carefully constructed facade began to crumble. Old identities and grievances resurfaced, like long-dormant volcanoes threatening to erupt. The 1990s saw Yugoslavia splinter in brutal wars, a tragic and violent unraveling of a nation. Neighbor against neighbor, communities torn apart by hatred and suspicion, fueled by nationalism and fear, manipulated by political forces seeking power and control. Ethnic cleansing, sieges and atrocities became grim realities, etching themselves into the collective memory of the region. Civility collapsed almost overnight, replaced by a brutal struggle for survival. Replaced by suspicion and violence dividing families and communities along ethnic lines. More than 30 years later, the scars of war are still visible. The peace is still fragile, requiring constant effort and vigilance to maintain. Borders are redrawn, but wounds remain open, a constant reminder of the past. The region is now a patchwork of new nations, each navigating its own path towards stability and prosperity. Each struggling with identity and the ghosts of the past, trying to reconcile with a history marked by conflict and division. Understanding the Balkans is about seeing how history lives on, shaping the present and influencing the future. How old conflicts can reignite, threatening to destabilize the region once again, and how the fate of a continent can hinge on a fragile peace, underscoring the importance of international cooperation and diplomacy. The story isn't over, it's a continuing narrative with many chapters yet to be written. The powder keg may be quieter, but the potential for renewed conflict remains. But it's never truly cooled, the embers of past grievances still smoldering beneath the surface. The lessons here are urgent, for Europe and for the world, offering insights into the complexities of conflict resolution and the importance of understanding history. This is the Balkans, complex, tragic and unfinished, a region that continues to captivate and challenge us. Picture Yugoslavia as a big house held together by a strict patriarch, Tito. When he was gone, the house fell apart. Slovenia and Croatia, wealthier and more Western, declared independence in 1991, shattering the fragile peace. Serbia, led by Milosevic, saw this as betrayal and responded with force, stoking nationalist fears. War erupted, first in Croatia, then Bosnia, the most diverse republic. Bosnia's mix of Muslims, Serbs, and Croats became a battleground for ethnic cleansing and siege. Sarajevo endured years under sniper fire and shelling. The world watched, paralyzed, as neighbors turned on each other. The breakup wasn't just political, it was a human catastrophe. Shared identity vanished, replaced by old divisions and deep mistrust. The legacy cities in ruins, families torn apart, and wounds that still shape the region. The lesson: unity can vanish overnight when fear and hatred take hold. The scars of that violent divorce remain. When the guns fell silent, the Balkans faced a new struggle: recovery. War left not just physical scars, but invisible wounds. Warlords and profiteers often became the new power brokers. Organized crime thrived, and state assets were sold off to insiders. For ordinary people, peace brought uncertainty and joblessness and emigration. Anka, a retired teacher, said, "The war took our past and the peace took our future." Nationalism remained a tool for politicians, keeping people divided. School books taught different histories, fueling suspicion. Bullet holes still mark buildings, but the deeper scars are in segregated schools and divided communities. The battle for the narrative never ended. The region's greatest challenge isn't rebuilding cities, it's healing minds. The war's echo lingers in memory, politics, and daily life. Moving on is hard when the past is everywhere. The struggle for a shared future continues. Bosnia and Herzegovina, a land of stunning natural beauty and rich cultural heritage, stands as a complex example of a nation grappling with the long shadows of war. It is a living monument to fragile peace, a testament to both the resilience of its people and the deep scars left by a conflict that tore the country apart. The remnants of war are still visible, serving as a constant reminder of the past. The Dayton Accords, signed in 1995, brought an end to the bloodshed, offering a pathway to reconciliation and a chance to rebuild. But the peace agreement also created a complex, divided state, a political structure designed to prevent further conflict, but one that often hinders progress. Two main entities form the backbone of this intricate system. The Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina and Republika Srpska, each with its own government and institutions, operate within a single, albeit often strained framework. They share power, at least on paper, but in reality, cooperation is rare, hampered by lingering mistrust and differing political agendas. The central government in Sarajevo is weak, often paralyzed by disagreements and a lack of consensus among the various factions. And beneath the surface of political maneuvering, ethnic divisions run deep, shaping social interactions and hindering the development of a unified national identity. Mostar's rebuilt Old Bridge, a symbol of connection and reconciliation, symbolizes hope for a future where communities can come together and overcome the divisions of the past. But even here, in this iconic city, the reality is that the city remains split along ethnic lines. Two school systems cater to different ethnic groups, separate utilities provide essential services, and in many ways it feels like two distinct worlds existing side by side. It's peace, yes, but it's not unity, not yet. Nationalist leaders clinging to power exploit these divisions, playing on fears and prejudices to maintain their grip. They are constantly threatening secession and stoking fear, undermining efforts to build a more inclusive and cohesive society. Ordinary people, the everyday citizens of Bosnia and Herzegovina, are exhausted. They are weary by endless political crises and the constant focus on the past, a past that continues to haunt the present. They want jobs, a sense of normalcy, a chance to build a better life. Above all, they want a future for their children, a future free from the burdens of the past. But the system, born out of the Dayton Accords, was primarily built to end war, to stop the immediate violence. It was not designed to build a nation, to foster a shared sense of belonging and purpose. Bosnia's peace is real, tangible, in the everyday lives of its citizens, but it's a cold and fragile peace, one that requires constant vigilance and a commitment to dialogue. The threat of renewed conflict, though perhaps distant, is never entirely absent from the collective consciousness. It is a constant undercurrent, a reminder of the fragility of stability and the importance of continued efforts to promote understanding and reconciliation. Progress is slow, often frustratingly so, and true unity, a genuine sense of shared national identity, remains elusive, a distant goal. The country stands as a warning to the world, a reminder of the devastating consequences of ethnic division and the challenges of building lasting peace. But it also offers a hope, a glimmer of possibility, a hope for what comes next, for a future where the wounds of the past can finally begin to heal. The peace holds, fragile as it may be, but it holds just barely, a delicate balance that requires constant attention and unwavering commitment. Kosovo's story is one of contested identity, a land caught between aspirations and realities. Its very existence is a question mark in the Balkans, and unresolved conflict. The scars of war are still visible, etched into the landscape and the collective memory of its people. For Serbia, Kosovo is sacred ground, a cradle of their civilization steeped in history and religious significance. For Kosovar Albanians, it's a hard-won homeland, a testament to their struggle for self-determination and a future free from oppression. After a brutal crackdown and NATO intervention, the international community stepped in to halt the humanitarian crisis. Kosovo declared independence in 2008, a moment of jubilation, but also the start of a new chapter filled with challenges, recognized by much of the West, who have invested heavily in Kosovo's development and stability, but not by Serbia, Russia, or China, countries that continue to view Kosovo as an integral part of Serbia. Kosovo exists in diplomatic limbo, caught in a geopolitical tug-of-war. It can't join the UN, a fundamental right for sovereign nations, or many global organizations, limiting its ability to participate in international affairs and access vital resources. In the north, Serb communities reject Pristina's authority. clinging to Belgrade for support and identity, leading to periodic violence and tension, a constant reminder of the fragility of peace. Every crisis, over elections, license plates, or borders, becomes a flashpoint, reminds the world how deep the divisions run and how difficult reconciliation remains. For young Kosovars, the unresolved status is stifling, hindering their opportunities and limiting their horizons. "We are paying the price for a conflict that happened before we were born," says Liridona, a graphic designer, echoing the sentiments of many of her peers. Kosovo's new generation is trapped by old disputes, yearning for a future free from the burdens of the past. The future remains hostage to the past, a constant struggle to break free from the chains of history. The conflict is frozen but far from resolved, simmering beneath the surface, threatening to erupt once more. Kosovo's limbo is a symbol of the region's unfinished business, a reminder that lasting peace requires reconciliation, justice, and a willingness to confront the past. The Balkans is once again a chessboard for global powers. The West, EU and US, pushes for reform and integration. Russia, with deep cultural ties to Serbia, blocks Kosovo's UN membership and offers diplomatic support. For Moscow, it's about influence and keeping a foothold in Europe. China's approach is economic. Loans, infrastructure, and investment, no questions asked. Leaders welcome Chinese money, wary of Western demands for reform. The EU offers membership, but the process is slow and frustrating. The US pushes for dialogue and democracy, but its influence is waning. The region is pulled in all directions, east and west, old alliances and new opportunities. Competing models of governance and influence are at play. The outcome is uncertain. The Balkans is a microcosm of global rivalry. The stakes are high, for the region and for the world. For years, EU membership was the Balkans' great hope. Slovenia and Croatia made it in, but for others, the dream is fading. Enlargement fatigue, crises, and internal EU disputes have slowed progress. Countries like North Macedonia did everything asked, only to be blocked again. Frustration and disillusionment are growing. Russia and China offer alternatives, money and support without democratic strings. Nationalist leaders exploit the EU's hesitation, fueling division. Young people are losing faith, looking elsewhere or leaving. Still, many believe in the European dream and push for reform. Civil society fights for rule of law and media freedom, not just for Brussels, but for a better future. The question, can hope outpace cynicism and authoritarian temptation? The EU dream isn't dead, but it's on life support. The region stands at a crossroads. The Balkans' stability is Europe's stability. Instability here means migration crises, border chaos, and humanitarian emergencies. The region is a hub for trafficking, drugs, weapons, people, that affects all of Europe. Weak institutions and corruption fuel crime across the continent. Strengthening the Balkans is essential for Europe's own security. The region is also a test for the EU's credibility. If the EU can't bring peace and prosperity to its own backyard, what does that say about its future? Nationalism and authoritarianism here embolden similar movements across Europe. The struggle in the Balkans is a struggle for Europe's soul. What happens here sets a precedent for the continent. The Balkans is not a distant problem, it's Europe's foundation, the stakes couldn't be higher. The Balkans stands at a crossroads, its future uncertain. One path leads to renewed conflict. Nationalist leaders, external meddling, and frozen disputes could spark new crises. Another path is hopeful renewed EU engagement, real reforms, and grassroots reconciliation. A third path is muddling through. No war, but no real peace, just limbo and lost potential. The choices made in Belgrade, Pristina, Brussels, Moscow, and Beijing will shape the outcome. For the people, it means either more of the same or a chance at something better. The only certainty, the story isn't finished. The world is watching. The Balkans' fate will echo far beyond its borders. The powder keg still sits in Europe's basement. Will it finally cool or ignite again? The answer depends on what happens next. The future is unwritten.